All right, Team Rhino, most of you who are obviously watching this on recording, since it's just me and Kayla on the live call, like 420 people in the group, and there's 2 people on the Team Rhino call. Hi, Kayla. Maybe we should just have a conversation back and forth.
Ryan.
You and me, right?
Wait, look, Cooper's here.
Your video is actually quite delayed. It's hilarious.
Oh.
Like Cooper just came up right now.
But my audio is coming, and then my
yeah, totally. It's kind of singing in the rain, like, you know. No, yes, yes, yes. No, no, no.
I forgot about that.
Okay, so see, I'm cultured. Look at that.
You're just showing that you're. Well, I don't know. I watched.
It's like the one old movie that I know.
I see.
Okay, so Team Rhino, all you people on the recording, there's 2 things that I want to get out of the way first before we start talking about personal branding and the document that I put in the team page as the pinned post. Probably won't be pinned anymore when some people are listening to this, but there is a document in the team page for personal branding, and that's the first thing I want to start with for the main part of this call. But I got 2 things I want to say before that. First of all, I want to do like a 5-minute little thing about approaching new coaches. Okay, so approaching new coaches and talking to them about the business opportunity. I've had 2 conversations today with different coaches about how you can approach your challengers and introduce the idea of coaching to them. And the main idea I want you to get a philosophy in your head when you're thinking about a person you have in a challenge group, or just a person that you know would be good at coaching. A philosophy for how you're going to approach them. The way that you position yourself is everything when you're approaching people about either just joining one of your challenge groups, or especially about the business opportunity and becoming a coach. You have to position yourself in the right way. And the right way is, this is an amazing opportunity for you. I'm presenting it to you and offering it to you because you're amazing and because you would be good at it. And if you don't take that opportunity, it's okay with me, and I'm going to go present it to a bunch of other people who might want to take that opportunity. You have to have that kind of a mindset when you go into it. If you go into it with any type of a mindset of desperation at all, or like you need them to sign up with you for your benefit or anything like that, it's not going to go well. Okay, so at least most likely. Now, like I said on the phone with someone today, you may have that friend that you knew in college that you have that relationship with, where you could go into it and be like, hey, you need to sign up as a coach, like right now. And don't even give me any crap about it. Just do it. You know, like you might have that relationship. The standard person, right? The standard person, that's not how you go into it. And you don't go into it with the desperation of, I sure hope you sign up because it's going to be great for me. It cannot be like that. Okay. So I was talking to one of the coaches today. She had messaged a friend and told them a whole bunch of stuff about how awesome they are, how much they've been an inspiration, and how much she thinks they would be a great coach. And she just presented the idea of coaching to them, which I think is a great way to start. Okay. So you start with, hey, you've been in my challenge group. You've been in 90-10 for 2 months now. You've been doing amazing. You're inspiring other people. And I think you would be great at coaching. I think, you know, the transformation that you've had would inspire other people. Other people need your help. You would be an awesome coach. What do you think about coaching? Or what do you know about coaching? Okay, so that's the start of it. You can go and be bold with people like that. And the key is giving them the feeling that they are inspirational and would be good at it. And you're only going to approach people that would be, right? I mean, you don't want people on your team that are not inspirational and wouldn't be good at it, right? So you're talking to the people who are inspirational and who would be good at it, and you tell them that they're inspirational and they would be good at it. So this particular person came back and said to her, well, thanks for all the nice thoughts. Yeah, I think I could see myself do this. What would I need to do? So they came back and said, oh, well, okay. So where do you go from there? Where is it that you would go after you said that, hey, you're awesome, you would be a great coach, I think you should become a coach. What do you think about that? And they say, I think I might be able to see myself doing that, but I need more information. What do you do? Okay. Number one, right here, I would either ask them, if you haven't already asked them this, I would ask them, how much do you already know about coaching? Because I don't want to give you information that you already have. I don't want to regurgitate information that you already know. I don't know how much you already know about how coaching works, because you've been in a couple of groups. Maybe you already know some things. So what do you already know about it? And how do you think it works, so that I know not to give you that, that same exact information? Usually I start there. The second thing I do once they answer that question, usually the answer is, well, I don't really know much about it. I just know that, I can get the products through you, but that's about all I know. Then I go for a phone call or a Zoom call. I try not to talk about coaching back and forth on messages. Okay. I think that's so super important. If you talk back and forth on messages about coaching, you're going to have to type a whole bunch of stuff. You're going to get shorthanded. You're not going to tell them what they really need to know. You're also going to get into what I call presenter mode. Presenter mode is, let me see how many words I can put down here to try to convince them. You can't get into presenter mode. You have to always be in question mode. You have to always be in story mode and question mode. You can't be in presenter mode. So don't do it on a message. Say, oh, okay, you don't know anything about coaching. You're not sure exactly what it's all about. Let's get on the phone or on a Zoom call. Does Tuesday work for you, or does Thursday work for you? These are a couple of times that I have available. And get them on a phone call, because you can do so much better with being genuine and being authentic and telling your story on a phone call and giving them the feeling of how excited you are about them becoming a coach on a phone call. Okay. So I get them on a phone call, and what do we do on the phone call? So here's what I wrote to this coach. I said, you get them on the call. First thing you do is a little bit of small talk, catch up a little bit, whatever. Great to talk to you. And transition with, well, I'm so glad that we could get on the phone and talk about this, and then reiterate the same nice things that you said about them when you sent them the message to introduce them to coaching. You've been so inspirational in the group, blah, blah, whatever those things are, reiterate those to them. Okay. Then tell them the story of how you got into coaching. Don't jump into, well, it's 25% off, you sell this, you do that, you run these challenge groups. Don't get into the specifics of things. Tell them how you got into coaching, how you signed up, what you love about it, how you love the community and how it supports people, and ask them a question like, have you felt that community and that support since you've been in the groups? Most likely they're going to be like, yeah, I have felt that community and that support. It's been amazing. I've loved the groups. Then, that can go back and forth a little while longer, but then I just end that with, good, well, then there are a lot of people out there that need that, and it sounds like this is perfect for you, and you could help reach some financial goals and some, personal goals with this, right? And if they say yes, then I'll say, okay, let's talk details and specifics then. And then you can talk about the 25% off, the commission that they get, the 25% commission, options for signing up, and then just close with, which option works best for you to get started? Is it does the challenge pack seem like the right way so you don't have to pay the $40 fee? Done. That's it. So you start the phone call, small talk, transition into, the things that you told them before. I'm so glad that we're getting to talk about this because you're awesome. You did this. You're inspirational. You'd be really good at this. Tell them how you got into it. Tell them what you love about it. Ask them if they've felt those same things since they've been involved in it. And then if they still feel like they want to do it, tell them the details, and then ask them which option for signing up sounds best to them. Okay? So that's it. That is like my, how long did that take? Kayla, how long?
Hours. It took hours.
That was like 8 minutes.
Yeah, probably.
Okay. 8 minutes. how to sign up a coach. Any questions on that, Kalis? And we got somebody else on here.
Yeah, and I'll be right back.
Who's that? Oh, Kayla. Okay.
It's
Who's
Brooke.
on the phone? Who's on the
Brooke.
phone? Who is that?
It's Brooke.
Oh, hey, Brooke. How's it going?
Brooke.
Brooke,
Good,
our
how
new
are you?
Emerald coach.
Welcome.
Yes, I'm here.
Congratulations.
Did you have any questions?
Thank you. No, that sounds great. I liked it.
Okay, good. All right.
No, that was great.
Okay, good. So second thing that I want to talk about before we get into the personal branding. Second thing is, this is a little bit of tough love. There's some people out there on this team that when we get to talking about personal branding, you guys are negative on Facebook. You're negative on your social media, and it just doesn't work for what we want to do. Okay. So I really need you to look back at what you do on social media and ask yourself this one question. If I was a potential customer, would I want to follow me? You have to ask yourself that. And if you're posting things on Facebook that have the hashtag FML because everything sucks for you, then you're not someone that people are going to want to follow. Nobody wants to follow people that are FML all the time. You know, no one wants to follow people that are, you know, my life sucks and this went wrong and this went wrong and that went wrong. Now, with a caveat that goes along with that is that I understand that things go wrong in your lives. And I understand that there are bad things happening. And I understand that not everything's perfect. And I don't want you to think that what I'm saying here is blow sunshine all day. Because that's not the right thing either. But there are ways to have things that happen bad to you that you can post on social media in a way where people understand that you're a real person and that things go wrong for you too, but they're not coming across as FML. Okay? And here's how that works, okay? How that works is something really bad happens, you post about it, and you talk about how you're dealing with it. Okay? How you're dealing with something is a much better post than this happened, it sucks, I just want to post it on Facebook so everybody knows that my life sucks. Okay? It's just two totally different things. Okay? So think about when you're posting on Facebook. I'm not telling you to hide things that are going wrong in your lives. I'm not telling you to hide those things or try to pretend like things are good. You have to be real and you have to be authentic, but you need to be talking about how you're overcoming things if things are going bad and how you're dealing with things rather than just throwing out there negative things, because you're in the business of attracting a following of people that are looking to you for inspiration and looking to you not just for fitness inspiration, but you're running a business from home. You're trying to create an income from home. It goes into all areas of your life. And so people are looking at you and saying, do I want to be like that person? And if the answer is no, I don't want to be like that person, they're also probably not going to buy products from you or get in a challenge group with you where you're supposed to be coaching them. They don't want to be coached by someone that they don't want to follow. Okay? So you have to think about, am I someone that I would follow? Okay, so I had to put that out there because I've seen some things here and there where it's like, guys, I know things are going wrong in your life right now, but you've got to be careful about how you post about that on Facebook. Okay, I am going to go take, before I get into personal branding, I'm going to go get rid of the dogs so that they stop barking. So give me 1 second. Doggies, come on. All right, sorry about that. Okay, now on to the actual team call. personal branding. So I sent out this document. It's in the team page. Look in the files section. If you don't have it, get it up in front of you so you can look at it. Here's the kind of the goal for the next 4 to 6 weeks. I want to talk about how to actually attract a following, okay? Because one of the goals that I don't think that I've done a good job of leading everyone to on this team is transitioning from being a hunter, where you're hunting for people to talk to attracting a following where people are hunting you down to get information from you. And that can happen over the course of a couple of years of consistent content and consistently giving things to the audience that is your audience over and over again. And I think what we have on this team, and what I haven't, what most people are doing, is they're spending years being hunters. And that works and can work and can bring you Success Club, but it's really nice when people are beating down your door to get things, information from you, and to be near you and to get the information that you have, rather than you having to go out there and hunt all the time. I don't know about any of you guys, but I would much rather have people coming to me and saying, hey, how do I get involved in the stuff that you do, rather than me having to go and look at my friends list and go, who am I going to talk to today, right? I mean, everybody wants that, right? Kayla, you want that, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, I was muted there for a minute.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I mean, everybody I think would want that. And so here's one of the keys to it is a lot of us are going around thinking, well, anybody who will buy something from me is who I want, right? Like, I don't want to narrow myself down. I want to just anybody. Like, I'll sell this stuff to anybody. I'll put anybody in my challenge group. And that's fine. You can put anybody in your challenge group. But what you're really trying to attract is a certain group of people that you can connect with the best. Who are those people? Like, for me, triathletes, I can connect with triathletes really, really easy. That's why, half of the team is triathletes, because I connect with triathletes really well, right? I connect with triathletes. I can connect with dads, right, who are trying to, be good dads and stay home with their kids, or just be more present with their kids. I can connect with engineers because I'm an engineer, and I can connect with people mostly in my age group the best, right? Those are the people I can connect with the best, but it doesn't mean that I can't connect with other groups of people as well. It's just those are the main people that I'm looking for. That's the following that I want to attract. Okay, so what we want to talk about over the next 4 to 6 weeks is how to build that following, what outlets to build the following through, how to capture those following people and turn them into paying customers so that you can build a business where the people are coming into you instead of you going out and primarily going out and finding people. You will always do both. You will always, always, always do both. But the more people you can get coming to you each month, the better you're going to be. Okay, so the first step in it is figuring out who you are and who is going to follow you. What is the group of people that are going to follow you? It's your brand. What is your brand, and who wants your brand? Who's going to connect with your brand the best? So that's what this document does, basically. So step one is how am I unique? So this step kind of helps you define your brand, and it tells you what are the specific qualities that you possess that make you stand out from the competition. And I promise I won't just read this document, okay? So what are the things? So I've got 3 questions on here that you can go out and ask. And I think one of the best ways to do this, especially question number 3, what do people remember most about you, is go out and actually ask your current following what they remember about you. And you can be specific about it if you want some specific information, because some people will say, to me it was, I remember that you lost weight, I remember that you have twins, and then other people get into things like, I remember that you have a great smile, which is not going to do a lot for your personal branding, like knowing that people think you have a great smile. Maybe a little bit, but that's not going to help you with audience necessarily, okay? So ask the people that already follow you, ask your family and your friends, what do you remember the most about me? When you think of Kayla, what do you think? Do you think about the job that I used to do? Do you think about my haircut? What is it that you think about? You know, and that's a good question to ask. And Kayla, you already asked this question, right?
Yeah, I just asked it today.
And what'd you get?
People remembered my heart, I don't know how you put that, like just how I treat people, I think. My enthusiasm, my love of the outdoors, the way how important my kids are to me.
Mm-hmm. Okay. See, so those are all good pieces of information. Now, you may not be able to build your personal brand just off what people say in that post, but it's helpful, useful information that you can put into these other thoughts. You know, what drives you is a really important one. What drives you to do this business? That's going to be part of your personal brand. Okay. So read through this document, read through that step one, go through those things. And then all of you should feel free to send me or your direct upline or me, both, either one or both. What
No
exactly? Yes, Kayla, you can send it directly to me. But I wouldn't skip Lisa if I was you. She's kind of cranky like that.
Oh, no, I will not be skipping Lisa.
Okay, so step one, that's that. Step two, how is what I do distinctive? So this is one that I think people really overlook. You know, what is it that I do that's distinctive? People will say, well, I don't really do anything that's very distinctive. You know, I'm just kind of normal. Like, I don't do anything distinctive. And it's like, you know, I think you probably do. It can actually literally be as silly as there's a show that was only on for 2 years or something, and you know everything about this show because you watched it religiously and you signed a petition when they shut the show off to bring it back. Like, you're that crazy about this one show that was only on for 2 years or something like that. And you could actually technically build a brand around that. You could build a blog about, you know, different ways the show could have ended. And you could actually build yourself a brand where people would follow you for that. And that could funnel into other things. It's totally like, what is it that's actually your brand? And, you know, I just started this thing called Ironhead Dad. Actually, I didn't just start it. I started it 3 years ago and then totally fell off of it. But the idea was the journey of a dad who's staying home with his kids and building a business and has twins, right? So a dad of twins, both girls. So a dad of daughters staying home with his kids and trying to build a business, and the hilarity that ensues from that. And that is basically the brand that I want to build. I want to build around that idea, dad of daughters building a business from home. And so that whole blog is going to be about that. And if you think about that, I can build off of that. I can talk about business stuff on that page because I'm a dad building a business from home. I can talk about my kids. I can talk about triathlon and stuff because I'm training for triathlons, and part of the name is Ironhead Dad because it's something my dad calls me because he likes to come up with names like that, Ironhead. So I can talk about everything that I want to talk about on that page, and there's a specific group of people that I want to follow that. And most of that is dads or moms of young kids who want to do something different and get out of the grind, right? There's this group of people that I really want to follow me, and those are the people who are saying, I don't want to do it like everybody else does it. I want to be more present in my kids' lives. I don't want to leave them in daycare. I don't want to leave them at home with somebody else. I want to be there. And so I'm going to go try to attract that group of people and make a following out of it. So what do I do that's distinctive? I stay home with twin girls while my wife goes to work. That's pretty distinctive and different. But it can be really, really simple. It can be really, really big. It can be all that kind of stuff in between. So think about, what are your favorite interests? What do those interests say about you? How do they distinguish you from your peers in your profession or your field of expertise? A common example on our team is being a triathlete. So that is different than other people. But maybe you're a coffee connoisseur. Maybe you rebuild old cars. All kinds of different things that you could do. Okay. So step 3, who is my target audience and why am I the best person to satisfy their needs? So the best thing to do here is to actually create a profile of someone who is the person that you're going to be able to connect with the most. What you end up doing almost is creating a profile of yourself when you do that, right? That's the person that you can connect with the best. So you're really digging down to what are the qualities about you that make you who you are. I've used the example several times of Lisa, and Kayla fits this profile fairly well too, like right in sort of in the same type of there's differences though. There's differences for sure, but I use Lisa as an example of someone who her kids are out of the house now. They're older kids. She's a grandma, but she's really not that old of a grandma, right? I mean, she's in her 40s still, and she's a grandma, and she's kind of like, you know what? I'm going to go back and be athletic now. You know, like I spent 20 years raising these kids, and I didn't do a whole lot of athletic stuff. I got a little overweight. I lost all that weight now. I'm going to run marathons and triathlons. And there's a whole huge group of people out there who are like that spent 20 years raising kids, and their kids are either in high school or getting out of high school and going out on their own now, and they have some extra time that they didn't have before, and they want to go back and get their athleticism back and still be young and not just say, well, I'm just going to sit around on the couch now. They want to go run a triathlon, their first triathlon at age 45. That's someone that Lisa can connect with like that. That's a great group of people for Lisa. So what is that for you? What is that target audience, that group of people that you're like, if I could find 50 people that all had these attributes and I could sit down with them, I could tell them a story that they would go, I want that, right? That's what I think about. It's like, what I want to find is 50 guys that I could sit down at a coffee shop and tell them, okay, here's the story. In 2006, this happened, or 2004, I was this much weight. 2005, I lost this weight. I did these triathlons. I was working as an engineer. I realized this. Then this happened. Then I said, you know what? I'm not going to do that anymore. And I did this. And I tell them this whole story, and they go, I want to do that. Can I do that too? Yes, you can do that too, and I'll show you how. So I want to find that person that says that. If I tell that story to a 60-year-old guy who's about to retire, he's going to be like, hey, good job. Right? Like he might not care about that because he's like, I'm just about to retire. I don't care about, like, that's a great story, but it doesn't apply to me, And then there's going to be some 60-year-old people who can tell a different story to that 60-year-old person who can say, this is what happened to me, right? Does that kind of make sense, what I'm saying? Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, step 4, why do I do what I do? The last and probably most important step in creating a personal brand is to commit to your brand on an emotional level in order to connect deeply with your target audience. So I got a list of questions here to ask yourself. If the world were a perfect place, what work would I be doing? Okay, so that's a great question to ask yourself. Is this thing that we're doing here, this Team Beachbody thing, is this something that you would be doing if the world were a perfect place? If in this perfect world, what am I achieving through my work? And in this perfect world, how am I impacting audiences? The reason that you want to go through these questions is really because the key, and we'll get into this next week, the key to bringing your audience to you is that you have to put out content that your audience is going to consume, not skip. It has to be content that your audience is going to consume. So if you can figure out what it is that drives you and what it is that the things that you want to accomplish, and then you put out content that aligns with those things, the audience that you want, if you can find them, is going to consume that. And when they consume it, they're going to share it with other people like them. And those people are going to consume it. And they're going to come and they're going to be like, we can go here to get this information. We can go here to get this content. But if your content doesn't relate to the audience that you're trying to get, then they won't consume it. And then they won't follow you because they're like, well, that doesn't relate to me. So, I see a lot of people who have like pages or blogs or something like that. And what they do is a lot of motivational memes, right? There's just a ton of motivational memes out there. And that's great. Motivational memes are fine. But if you're posting motivational memes and you're not posting like what it means to you and how it relates to your life or whatever, they can go to like 40,000 other like pages and get that exact same meme. It's not content that relates specifically to them. So how are you going to put out content that relates specifically to them? You have to know what those people want. And this is how you find it, is you have to ask yourself these questions. What is it that I want, and what's going to relate to my audience? Okay, after you've done that, you can create your brand statement, which I kind of talk about at the bottom here. But I want to just like open it up for questions because, really you guys can read this document and get most of what I'm trying to say here. I just wanted to give some amplifying information and kind of talk about where my head is at on it. And I did put my brand statement that I kind of put on here. I'm a stay-at-home dad of twin girls and a small business owner who uses endurance racing, fitness, nutrition, leadership, and as much humor as possible to inspire those that feel stuck, both in health and then my printer cut off. Does anybody have the rest of that? Who's got it in front of them? You're muted, Kayla.
I'm sorry, I'm unmuted. Let's see. I'm a stay-at-home dad. Oh, actually, it says Dade of twin girls and small
Awesome.
business owner who uses endurance racing, fitness, nutrition, leadership, and as much humor as possible to inspire those that feel stuck, both in health and in life in general, and give them a plan to live healthier and with more freedom than they ever thought possible.
There it is. So that's what I want to do. So questions. Let's talk about it. I've got time. Anything? Has anybody tried this and have a statement that they would like to share?
I have an incomplete statement.
Okay. We can work with that.
I am a mother of 2 adolescent boys that are almost out of the house, and I am starting to have more time and freedom. I work from home as an independent beach body coach. I am a triathlete, and I love to exercise with other people. I am enthusiastic and supportive, and I don't take my life or myself too seriously. I do my best, ... Ooh, that's where I got to.
Cool. I like it. I like how it kind of talks about how I'm starting to have more time. And so then you kind of fill up, here's what I'm filling up this time with.
You people out there.
Yeah. I'm filling up this time working out with other people, getting healthier. Yeah. Anybody else tried this yet?
I was trying to fill it with Adam and I, but we haven't sat down to do it yet.
Okay.
It's
Yeah,
tough.
So
I think you guys working together could be really good. It might be hard to come up with a statement, but I think, working together and kind of being a power couple would be a pretty good brand for you guys. But it has to be yours. So whatever you guys decide. But that's the first thing that comes to mind for when I think of you two is, like playing off of each other's likes and strengths. Like he likes to lift and get big, and you're into PIO and all that kind of stuff, and just kind of playing back and forth off of each other with that stuff, and just being fun with it. Seems like where you could go with it. What about you, Mike?
Well, I was going to actually ask you that question about combining brands. Mardell and I had a good discussion this morning. I had a woman that came to the house yesterday to talk about Beachbody and Shakeology and all that. And, I kind of forced Mardell to hang around, and, she was able to engage with her a lot more because they relate. She's a woman in her 40s, kids growing up, one's still in college, but they're kind of moving on. And I shared a lot of great information with her, but it was clear that she was ready to engage way more with Mardell. And we talked this morning about, what's my brand, Mardell? What do you think? And realized that we really both reach best different groups. And since she doesn't really want to engage in the business so much at this point, how do you, on Facebook or other social media, put out a brand for the both of you, I guess? I mean, I don't know if you have suggestions on that. Does it work to make a brand together? It sounds like you think it does based on what you just told Brooke.
I think it can. I think it can. I think it works better as a brand that's together when both people really want to engage in the business. You know, like I don't really make my brand around my wife at all, just because she really doesn't want to engage in the business. And so I make it more around me and my kids rather than around me and my wife, because she's never been someone who likes to be on camera. She doesn't like to be in a ton of photos. She doesn't like to be, she's not a big social media person, you know? And so if I was trying to build my brand around her, I'd always be trying to get her on the camera, and I'd always be trying to take pictures, and I'd always be trying to get her to say stuff, and it just wouldn't work, you know? Like she just wouldn't do it.
Same situation I've got here. Yeah.
Yeah. So I would go a different route with it. And, you know, there's probably going to be some people, like if you look at my brand, you know, where I've gone a lot with triathletes in the past. They've been male and female triathletes. But I've also got people on the team that I wasn't necessarily trying to attract, but they came anyway. And so when you get those people that are maybe not in your target audience, it's very important to realize it's not necessarily something that it's definitely not something that you're like, oh, I know you wanted information, but you're not part of my target audience. You know, like those people are still gonna, they're still gonna, and you can say, hey, Mardell, this is a woman. You know, maybe you could help me connect with her. She's gonna come over or whatever. But I would target the people that you're gonna be able to connect with the best. That's who you're really trying to target, and all the extra people that come along, you help them too. You know.
Right. Well, it's been interesting for me so far in the short time I've been doing this. My biggest audience has been mostly women in their 30s to 40s, 21-day fix. I mean, it's not an area that I thought would be my strength, and I don't think it is my strength necessarily, but yet for whatever reason, I'm doing well with that demographic, and I'm not doing so well. And I you know, Nate and I talked today about maybe approaching things differently, and I'm looking forward to the Dallas conference for men, and how do I reach guys my age? I thought I would be more of a role model for, you know, guys that are you know, losing their sights on fitness. Their careers are winding down. They're wondering what they're going to do. They're, you know, thinking about other hobbies because the kids are out of college and all that kind of thing, and yet you don't reach those guys on social media very much. So, you know, probably 90% of all of my challenge pack sales have been women, and I have had a lot of couples engaged, but only because the woman took the initiative to have her husband do it.
Yeah, I can totally see that, and it actually is an issue. You know, it's one of the things we're going to talk about at Dallas is that guys, number one, aren't on social media as much, and when they are, they're not nearly as open or vulnerable as women tend to be. I don't want to get into, you know, like completely stereotyping anyone, but I mean, it really is true. Like guys have a lot of pride issues when it comes to admitting that they need help. Like guys don't do it. It's why there's the stereotypes out there of guys won't ask for directions. They'll drive around for 4 hours before they'll ask to stop at a gas station and ask for directions. You know, which the smartphone has sort of changed, but it's seriously true. You know, we won't stop and ask for directions. And I had that conversation with one guy who actually came to me and said, I need help. He said, it took me 3 months to come and ask you for help because I had too much pride. I wouldn't ask you for help even though I've needed it for months. And I knew you were the right person to ask, but I didn't because, you know, and a lot of women are just not like that. They're like, hey, I need help. You know, I don't know why. So I'm actually looking forward to the Dallas event too. But I think one of the keys is, you know, you can actually go other places than social media. And I think one of the best places to do that is with a blog. You know, it's to create a website, center it around exactly who you want to talk to, start writing content for it, and it'll start getting noticed other places like Google instead of in social media. And that's going to take a while. That's not going to be an immediate thing. You know, it's going to be a year and a half, 2 years before there's going to be followers really on that blog, you know, and it's going to start bringing in people. But that's where I think a lot of it's at is in other places besides social media.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, well, we're probably gonna have a big talk about this after Dallas too. Just once we get all that information together and see where we want to go as a team, because we actually have a fair number of guys on this team. Our demographic is not the 92 to 8% that the whole network is. We have, especially as far as our leader or successful coaches. We have a fair number of guys up there, Nate, you, Brooks, we've got guys in the successful coach arena. So what other questions? I know I didn't completely, give you all the answers there.
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. Helpful.
Anybody else got questions?
Hey, this is Chad Husted. Can you hear me all right?
Yes, I can.
All right, great. I'm one of the new and unsuccessful coaches to this
No,
point.
just new.
And I relate very much.
New.
Yeah.
I have a story for you.
I relate very much to the recent comments about reaching my demographic. I'm 40 years old, and all of my contacts and friends are 40 years old or in that ballpark, and we're all trying to look ourselves in the mirror and say, hey, it's time to do something. But I find that, especially with the 90-10 resource, I'm drawing a lot of people in by inviting them and offering lots of free solutions, and they're learning to understand and appreciate where I'm coming from as someone who's just interested in sustaining a healthy lifestyle for my future.
Yeah.
And I also race triathlon and such, but not many others do. And so what I find is that I'm offering lots of help to people, but they are either very reluctant to reciprocate in terms of being open, like has been suggested, nor do they seem particularly interested in buying anything. And so I'm trying to figure out, what am I not doing by helping these people to get them to jump off the cliff and buy a Shakeology at the bare minimum, or join me in a challenge group for PIO or something.
Well, yeah, so a lot of that comes through how you have the conversations once they're in the group. So once you've got them in a 90-10 group, and they see the community that we have, and they see the things that we're doing, you have to have a lot of conversations with them about what parts of it they're struggling with and what they're doing on a daily basis, and get as much information from them as you possibly can, just by asking questions from the standpoint of, how can I help you best? I want to make sure I understand your situation so that I can help you better. And most of the time, what I find is that if you ask enough questions, they're dialogue, it's dialogue questions. I think that's a big thing to put as a caveat there. Not like you're going down a checklist of questions, but you're having dialogue back and forth. And the way that usually works is like, so what are you struggling with the most during this 90-10 challenge? Oh, well, I kind of struggle with recipes, like I don't know what to cook. Oh, well, have you checked out the 90-10 Pinterest page? I get a lot of my recipes from there. Have you looked on there? And you have this dialogue back and forth where you're trying to kind of help them find the resources that they need. And most often there's a struggle or something that someone brings up that you can answer with, oh, well, what I do for that is I drink Shakeology, but there's probably a lot of other things, or have you thought about the Shakeology? And if you can get to that, a lot of times you get into a really good conversation about Shakeology. But you got to ask them questions to find a place where Shakeology fits and that your story fits. Because if you don't, if you're just like, hey, you should buy the Shakeology stuff, it could help you, it doesn't work as well that way. So maybe you could, I don't know if that helps at all, or if you're already doing that and that doesn't help, but that's kind of where I go.
No, that's helpful. The risk that I feel I'm running is chasing people away who I've told I'm really interested in helping them along their health journey without sounding too salesy.
Right.
And so I bring it up and I offer opportunities, you know, on my challenge group page that I've created in Facebook, and I post lots of activity and personal comments and such there, and I do get some dialogue in there, and I follow up as best I can, you know, at least weekly, and ask lots of questions. But I think it must be that I'm either not asking enough questions or specific enough questions because I'm afraid of being too nosy, or scaring people away because they can sense that I'm building them up for a sales pitch.
Right. And that is an art. It is an art to be able to, but I think if you kind of let go of the sale and really just listen to the people, you know, and kind of forget about it yourself, just, you know, listen to what they have to say about what's going on and then try to think of solutions for it, just any solution, you're going to come back to Shakeology as a solution for a lot of things and that they're struggling with, you know, and it's just going to naturally happen.
Right. Okay.
You're going to be able to say, oh, well, what I do for that is Shakeology. And I'm usually very non-pushy about it. I will say, you know, if somebody says, well, I don't know what to have for breakfast. You know, breakfast is the one I struggle with the most. I'll be like, oh, well, you know, I usually have Shakeology for breakfast. That's what I like to do. But there's lots of options over here on your breakfast page under the breakfast board. You know, you can do egg scrambles, you can do oatmeal, you can do all this kind of stuff, and then ask them a question. So I give them some options, tell them about Shakeology, I give them some options, and then I ask them a question like, after I've said, you know, well, I do Shakeology, but this Pinterest board has this. Do you like eggs? Or do you like oatmeal? Or what, you know, what kind of things do you like for breakfast? And go from there. And a lot of times they'll be like, well, maybe the Shakeology would be better for me. What's that all about? You know, and then it's not pushy, it's not salesy. Here's what I do, you know, and let them decide whether they want to be interested in that or if they want to just talk to you about the Pinterest idea or the other recipe solutions that you know. It's a practice
that's
thing,
true.
man. It's really a practice thing. You got to keep trying it, and you got to. You really do have to make sure that you're on the level that you're thinking about it from how can I help this person rather than how can I sell this person.
Absolutely, yeah. That I'm very concerned about that.
Yeah.
Which leads me to my other question about the branding that we're talking about here, because I have been thinking about the branding, but I guess I'm kind of afraid that it will really limit the people who might have any interest. But again, because I don't have any experience, it just seems counterintuitive to me. My strategy now is how can I help anybody versus, you know, how can I help people who are, you know, raising kids and trying to run triathlon type of thing.
Yeah. Well, and I totally understand that because that was my first thought when people started telling me about branding. But here's what I'll tell you. Here's what I know. The biggest teams in Beachbody, they look like clones of their leader. The biggest teams in Beachbody look like clones of their leader. If you look at Lindsay Matway's team, 20,000 coaches. Every leader you see come up on that team, 2-star diamond, 3-star diamond, 5-star diamond, and that Lindsay's their coach, they're blonde and look like Lindsay. It's like she knows exactly who her audience is. She attracts exactly who she wants to attract. She relates really well to them. She knows exactly how to tell them to post on social media so that they can do the same thing. See, now you put Lindsay Matway with a guy, and she doesn't know how to tell him to post on social media to do the same thing she's doing. She knows how to teach other people who act like her and look like her to do what she does. And Lindsay's a very smart person. I don't mean that. I hope I'm not coming off as like, saying she knows how to tell pretty blonde girls how to post, half-naked selfies on Facebook. That's not what I'm saying. Now I probably sound even worse. Let's move on to Josh Spencer. So Josh Spencer is the guy who's like,
let me take your shovel away from you.
What's that? Say that
I
again.
said, let me take your shovel away from you.
Yeah, exactly. So Josh Spencer is like 27, 20, or maybe he's 29 now. And he is a team full of guys. He has like 15,000 coaches on his team, 18,000 coaches on his team. And you look at every leader that comes up on his team, they're all guys, and they're all like 25 to 35. That's what he has on his team. And that's all he looks for. And I've talked to him about this before. He's like, I want guys who want to lift weights. That's what I look for. I look for guys that want to lift weights. And he says, I know how to relate to those guys. And so he relates to those guys. And he says it's a very, very narrow group of people, but there's like 300 million people in the US. Like a narrow group of people is like 200,000, at least.
Yeah.
He can relate to
That's true.
Probably 1 million people at least in the United States that are in that age group who want to lift weights. He's got plenty of people to relate to. And then the more narrow you get, the less people it is. But I tell you, you only need 5 of you to make a huge team. 5 of you. That's what you need. And you can make a huge team. So, and you can help a lot of people that way.
All right, that's good. Yeah.
Thank you, Kayla. All right. Anything else, guys? More questions?
Much rather be under you than Lindsay Matway. I've just got to tell you. I don't fit the blonde bombshell mold.
See, and she's not looking for you. She's just not, and that's the way it should be,
I'm too much of a tomboy for Lindsay Matway.
Yeah, she would not know how to relate to you. It's just not what she's looking for, and she's looking for a very specific group of people. Megan Ewaldson is the same way. She's looking for AV moms or military moms, I should say, between like 25 and 35 who have kids. I mean, they're moms and they're military wives, and she has a team full of those people, and some of them aren't military moms, but they fit the rest of the mold, But she has tons of military moms on her team, and she focuses on that. I was talking to her about her like page the other day, and she boosts her like page to get more likes, and she has the targeting down to a specific group of people. She's figured out who will like her posts when she posts, who will comment on them, who will share them, and she only targets her like page at those people. That's all she wants to like the page. She's not just like, anybody who will like this page, please come like this page. She's like, I want people in this demographic to like this page, because when she posts, those people eat up her content because she's posting things that are relevant to those people. If you get a like page with 60-year-old guys, 40-year-old women, 25-year-old guys who want to lift weights, 27-year-old blonde bombshells, and all these different people on one like page, what are you going to post? Like you're going to post something and this small section of it might like it, but the way like pages work, especially, only a very small percentage of your page of your likes actually gets to see each post. So if every one of your likes is of the same demographic and you post things that demographic loves, then you're going to get likes when it goes out. And then it's going to get to more people. And then it's going to get shared. And then it's going to get to more people. And so that's who you really want to target. But again, if someone comes to you and says, I need some help, and they're not in your demographic, it certainly doesn't mean that you're like, oh, I'm sorry, you're not in my demographic and in my audience that I want, so I'm not going to help you, right? I mean, certainly not that. But when you're trying to build a following of people that are going to be like a funnel to you that want to come to you, You're looking for a specific group. More questions? All right, I got to go teach some PIO. I'll see y'all later. Thanks for being on.
Thanks, Ryan.
Bye.